So, picture this. You are standing in your kitchen. It is a totally normal, just completely quiet Tuesday morning.
Right.
You are pouring your coffee, maybe looking at the window, the sun is shining, and suddenly, just completely out of nowhere, your brain decides to hit play on a memory from 3 days ago.
Oh, I know this feeling.
Right. It was just a 4-second interaction, like a brief, slightly awkward hallway chat with someone at work, maybe a joke that just kind of fell flat, or a silence that stretched, one beat too long.
Yeah, just a tiny moment.
Exactly. And the thing is, the conversation has been over for 3 whole days. But for some reason, your nervous system is still treating it like breaking news.
It really does.
It is running on this endless loop, and your stomach drops all over again, your face gets hot, and if you are nodding your head right now listening to this, let me tell you, you are definitely not alone.
No, not at all. It is such a shared human experience, isn't it? You're just standing there holding your coffee mug, completely safe in your own home, and your face actually flushes hot again, purely for the memory of something that is entirely in the past.
Yeah, it's wild. It makes no sense logically.
It really doesn't. But, it happens to so many of us.
And today, I really want us to figure out why we do this to ourselves, like why our minds absolutely lock onto these minor social slip-ups, and more importantly, how we can actually reset. Because nobody wants to be trapped by a clumsy sentence they mumbled on a Friday afternoon.
No, nobody wants that. And I think the best place to start here is to just reassure you and everyone listening that if you overthink these small moments, it is not a flaw in who you are.
Right.
It's not a sign that you are just, being overly dramatic about the world. What you are feeling is a deeply human, purely physical response. It is tied directly to how ancient humans lived, and your brain is actually doing exactly what it was built to do.
Okay, wait, I love this. I love when we trace our modern worries back to ancient history, because it's like we're walking around with these ancient brains trying to deal with modern office life.
Yes.
But let me make sure I am grasping this. You're saying my brain is literally reacting to me saying, like, you too, to the movie ticket guy, as if a wild animal is about to attack me.
It sounds so extreme when you say it like that, but yes.
How? How does a tiniest social mistake translate to actual physical danger in our biology?
Well, to your nervous system, the stakes are exactly the same. You really have to look at how humans evolved. For thousands of years, we lived in these small, tight-knit groups.
Right, like tribes.
Right. And in that setting, your social standing wasn't just about whether people thought you were charming or funny. It was literally about survival.
Because you needed the group.
Exactly.
Right.
If you were disliked, or if you embarrassed the group or became a burden, you risked being pushed out. And a human alone in the wild simply did not survive, period.
Wow. Okay, so getting kicked out meant you were done.
Exactly. So the brain built a highly alert threat system to watch your social status at all times.
It kind of makes me think of an old smoke alarm in a house.
Oh, how so?
You know, the kind that just goes off at this ear-piercing volume just because you burned a piece of toast in the kitchen?
Yes, the worst.
Right. Like, the alarm doesn't know the difference between a slightly burnt bagel and the entire house actually being on fire. It just senses a tiny bit of smoke and screams, "Threat!"
Yeah.
That's our brain reacting to an awkward silence.
That is a perfect way to frame it. The brain's panic center doesn't really sort out social smoke from physical fire. It just sounds the alarm.
It just hits the panic button.
Exactly. And when you look closely at how the brain works, they've actually mapped this out. When people feel social rejection, it lights up the exact same brain areas as actual physical pain.
Wait, really? The same areas?
Yes, the same exact pathways.
So when I say it hurts to remember something awkward, I'm not just using a figure of speech.
No.
My brain is processing it like I just stubbed my toe.
Precisely. The brain pathways that feel a paper cut are being taken over by the pain of a bad social moment.
Yeah.
That is why you feel it in your chest, why your heart rate speeds up, why your palms sweat.
Wow, that changes how I see it completely.
And there's this other piece to it too. It's like a background mental tracking system. Your brain uses this background energy to track how other people are viewing you in real time.
Like a radar just spinning in the background.
Yes. When a chat is going well, this radar just hums along quietly. But when something goes wrong, the system gets stuck in what we call an open loop.
An open loop?
Yeah, because the threat wasn't closed out. You walked away feeling awkward, so the brain just keeps running mental movies of what people might be thinking. It's trying to figure out the damage to your social standing.
Oh, man. It's like having way too many tabs open on your computer, and one of them is just playing this awful, stressful music, and you can't figure out which tab it is.
And it feels out of your control Because physically it is. A background alert got tripped by the survival system, and it hasn't gotten the all-clear signal to shut down yet.
Okay, so since this is so deeply physical, since it literally shares space with physical pain in the mind, it totally makes sense that our physical state on any given day would change how hard these moments hit us.
Absolutely.
Because I've noticed, like, diet and sleep seem to play a huge role here, which kind of blew my mind when I really started thinking about it.
It is huge. When we connect this to the bigger picture, it really shifts how we look at mental strength. Dealing with social unease isn't just about forcing yourself to be brave.
Right.
It's about whether your body has the fuel to handle it. Think about blood sugar. If you eat a lot of sugar and not enough protein, your blood sugar spikes up and then crashes hard.
The classic afternoon slump.
Right. And when it crashes, your body pumps out stress chemicals to try and balance things out. So your nervous system is already flooded with stress before you even open your mouth to talk to someone.
So if I'm hungry or tired, my brain just doesn't have the fuel to shrug off a bad joke. I'm not just being too sensitive.
Not at all. Your body is already on edge. And sleep is even more vital.
I can imagine.
When you get enough sleep, the logic center of your brain acts like a brake pedal on your panic center. It keeps your feelings from spinning out of control.
Okay.
But when you lose sleep, that connection actually gets weaker. A tired brain loses its brakes.
Wow.
So forgetting a name might feel like nothing after a good night's sleep. But on 4 hours of sleep, your panic center treats it like a major disaster because the logic center is too tired to calm it down.
That makes so much sense. It really takes the blame off, you know? But I'm also thinking it's not just our daily physical state. We also go through different seasons of life, and the way this panic hits us seems to change as we get older.
Oh, it definitely shifts.
Because it doesn't just feel like the same anxiety every year. The flavor of the panic changes. Like, think about your 20s.
Right, the early years.
You're in this phase where you are really trying to build your identity. You are figuring out who you even are.
Yes.
And because that identity isn't fully baked yet, a minor mistake feels like it defines you. You don't think, oh, I did an awkward thing. You think, I am a deeply awkward person.
The stakes feel huge.
Exactly. But then you get into your late 20s and 30s and it changes. It's like cognitive overload.
That is the perfect term for it.
It's like your brain is running this massive update. You're managing a career, paying bills, maybe raising kids. Your mental RAM is completely full.
It is at total capacity.
So when a tiny social glitch happens, the whole system just freezes because there is just no space left to process it.
Right. In your 30s, it doesn't always threaten who you are anymore, but it just feels like one too many things.
Yeah.
It's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yes. And then moving into your 40s and beyond, a totally different fear creeps in.
Yes, the fear of being stuck.
Right.
At that stage, many people start to think their mindsets are set in stone. They tell themselves, well, I've always cared too much about what people think, so I guess I always will.
Which is so sad to think about.
It is, but it's also not true. The brain can always rewire itself at every single age.
It's always changing.
Exactly. Some of the most amazing shifts in how we handle these awkward moments happen later in life, once we finally see the deeper patterns.
Let's talk about those deeper patterns, because this awkwardness loop rarely just happens on its own, right? It's usually sitting on top of other things.
Almost always.
Like, if you are someone who battles with wanting everything to be perfect, one flawed sentence isn't just a slip-up, it's a total failure of your whole system.
Yes. The need for perfection makes everything heavier.
Or people-pleasing. If your biggest fear is letting someone down, an awkward pause feels like you've betrayed the relationship.
And we really have to look at the habit of comparing ourselves, too.
Oh, definitely.
Any of us are always measuring our one real messy moment against everyone else's perfectly polished lives.
So true. We compare our blooper reel to their highlight reel.
Precisely.
Okay, so we get the biology, we get the energy bandwidth, and the life stages. We know why the alarm goes off.
Right.
But let's look at the stories we tell ourselves while we are stuck in that panic. The biggest one being the idea that everyone else is judging us just as harshly as we are judging ourselves.
This is such a common trap.
I hear that, but let me challenge this a little. Is it really true that people don't remember our mistakes? Or are we just telling ourselves that to feel better? I mean, if I spill coffee all over my boss, people are going to remember that, right?
Well, sure. Spilling hot coffee on your boss might be talked about for a day or two.
Fair enough.
But the vast majority of our slip-ups fall under what is often called the spotlight effect.
The spotlight effect.
Yes, it is this built-in bias where we guess way too high about how much other people notice us.
We really think everyone is watching.
We do. We are stuck in our own heads. You feel this burning heat of your own shame, and you mistakenly think everyone else can feel that heat too.
So we literally think there is a stage spotlight shining right on us, tracking everything we do.
Exactly. There have been these fun tests where people are asked to wear a really silly, embarrassing shirt into a crowded room.
Oh no.
And then they are asked to guess how many people noticed the shirt. Consistently, they guessed that half the room was staring at them.
Let me guess. Nobody cared.
Almost nobody. It was barely 20%. Most people are completely wrapped up in their own thoughts.
Wow.
We are all the main characters in our own stories, which means no one is watching your story as closely as you are.
That is so freeing. And yet we just sit there and overthink it anyway.
We do?
We tell ourselves that if we just replay the event enough times in our heads, we'll somehow crack the code or learn a deep lesson. But from what I understand, overthinking it doesn't pull in any deep insight at all.
None. It creates a fake sense of doing something useful.
Fake work.
Yes. You feel like you are solving a puzzle, but physically, you are just keeping your body trapped in survival mode. It keeps the stress chemicals pumping.
And this brings up a huge myth that I think we really need to clear up. The idea that super confident people just don't feel this awkwardness.
Oh, that is a huge myth.
Right. Like we assume they are just immune to it, but they totally feel it too. Embarrassment is a normal, healthy response to feeling judged.
It shows you care.
Exactly. The difference is just that confident people have built faster ways to bounce back. To kind of paint a picture a bit, let's talk about two different ways people handle this. Let's look at Sarah and Michael, two totally different approaches.
Okay, let's break down Sarah's response first.
So Sarah is in a big, important meeting, and she completely blanks on a key person's name right in the middle of talking.
A classic nightmare scenario.
Right. And to her, the silence felt like it lasted a full minute, though it was probably like 2 seconds.
The spotlight effect in action. Time just slows down when we panic.
Totally. But look at what she does next. For the rest of the day, she just spins out, she loses sleep, and by the next morning, her fear turns into just hiding. She starts avoiding eye contact with people at work, totally sure they are all thinking about how bad she messed up.
Which is so sad because, ironically, acting that way probably made her look way more uneasy than the original mistake ever did.
It almost always does. You act weird to cover up being weird.
Exactly. The problem with hiding is what it does to your body. When you hide from the people you felt awkward around, you are sending a signal to your brain's panic center that says, yes, these people are a real danger, we must escape them.
So it actually makes the fear stronger.
It deepens the groove of the fear in your mind. Sarah only snapped out of it days later when someone else casually mentioned forgetting a name, which finally proved to her that nobody was holding on to her mistake.
Man, and then you have the complete opposite approach with Michael.
Right, the other end of the scale.
So Michael mispronounces a big word in front of his whole team, and people kind of chuckle. But he doesn't hide. His reaction is to just apologize way too much.
Over and over.
Yeah, he brings it up the next morning and the day after that, always trying to explain himself and smooth it out.
And what does that actually do? By bringing it up again and again, Michael is dragging the spotlight back onto the mistake.
Right.
He is making a much bigger deal out of it than anyone else ever did.
And here's where it gets really interesting to me. By trying to fix the awkwardness with endless apologies like Michael did, we're actually trapping the other person in our own awkward loop, aren't we?
Oh, that is exactly what happened.
Because we're forcing them to comfort us about something they didn't even care about.
That is the hidden cost of it. Saying sorry too much makes the whole vibe so heavy.
Yeah.
It forces the other person to do emotional work to constantly soothe you, which drains them.
It just stretches out the weirdness.
Yes. A quick warm nod in the moment fixes it. A 3-day apology tour just makes it weird for everyone. Both Sarah hiding and Michael apologizing too much are backwards ways to handle it. They feed the open loop instead of closing it.
Which brings us to the most vital part of our whole chat today. How do we actually close that loop? How do we build that faster bounce back habit that confident people have?
The steps are really practical once you know them.
Let's talk about the reset flow. And I don't want to just rattle off a dry list. Let's look at how this actually plays out in real time.
Okay, let's walk through it.
So let's say I'm in my kitchen, the memory hits me out of nowhere, and my face gets hot. What is the very first thing I do right in that second?
The very first goal is to stop the physical wave of panic.
Hmm.
You do this by just naming what is happening. The second you feel your mind spinning, you silently give it a label. You tell yourself, this is just overthinking. This is my brain treating a memory like a wild animal.
Wait, let me make sure I get the mechanics of this.
Yeah.
You're saying just by giving the feeling a name, blood flow actually shifts in my brain.
It really does. It is an amazing reflex.
How does a single word do that?
Well, finding a word uses your language center, which is in the logic part of your brain. By forcing your mind to find a word, you are literally pulling energy and blood away from the panic center and moving it to the logic center.
You are manually flipping the switch.
Exactly. You are taking the steering wheel back.
Okay, so I've named it. I feel a bit more grounded. What's the next boundary?
Next is riding the 90-second wave. The initial heavy physical rush of a feeling, the hot face, the tight chest, it actually only lasts for about 90 seconds.
Really? Just a minute and a half?
Yes. It peaks and starts to fade away naturally in 90 seconds. But only if you don't feed it with new thoughts.
Oh, see, I have to admit, I tried this once, and I definitely just sat there for 90 seconds mentally writing a huge defense speech in my head, which I'm guessing ruins the whole thing.
It totally defeats the purpose.
I figured.
If you start planning what you should have said or wondering why they looked at you funny, your brain dumps a fresh batch of stress chemicals.
And the clock starts over.
Yes, you start a brand new 90-second wave. You aren't riding the wave. You are making new ones.
So if I just sit there and let my face be hot and let my chest feel tight for a minute and a half without adding any story to it, the alarm just burns itself out.
Exactly. You just let the physical flush run its natural course.
Okay, that makes sense.
But because you still have those chemicals floating in your system, you need to physically burn them off. That is the next step.
Right, because you can't just think your way out of a body response. But how does this work? Why does going for a walk fix an awkward memory?
Because your survival system just dumped fuel into your body to help you run away from a threat. If you just sit frozen at your desk, that fuel just sits there, making you feel jumpy.
Right.
Taking a quick brisk walk, doing some stretching, or even taking deep breaths uses up that energy. It sends a clear signal to your body that the danger is gone and you are safe.
Okay, so the immediate body panic is handled. Now we have to fix the mental story.
Yes, this is where we zoom out.
The zoom out question. You ask yourself, will this matter in 5 days, 5 months, 5 years?
This directly fights the spotlight effect. It forces your mind to see the true size of the moment. Almost no awkward pause is remembered by anyone else, even 5 days later, let alone 5 years.
It really puts it in a box. And
Yeah.
pairing that with changing your setting is so smart. Like if you had the awkward moment in the meeting room, don't just sit in that same meeting room and stress about it.
Get up and leave the room.
Right. Physically moving to a new space tells your brain that the old moment is over and a new moment is starting.
It breaks the context. And once you are calm and in a new space, you have to look at your self-talk.
This is big.
This is where you use a softer voice.
Hmm.
It sounds a bit simple, but it works so well. Instead of letting your inner voice call you a fool, you purposefully use a friend voice. You say, this is a tough moment, and it is okay to feel this way.
It's just simple kindness.
Yes, that simple tone drops the tension so much, it breaks the cycle of shame, and tied right to that is keeping your identity separate.
Oh, this is huge, especially for people in those younger identity building years. You really have to separate the event from who you are as a person.
You really do.
You say, I had an awkward moment. You do not say, I am an awkward person.
The words you use in your own head change everything. Keeping one mistake separate from your whole character removes the heavy shame. And that actually makes it easier to take social risks later.
Because if you believe you are just a flawed person, you will hide.
Exactly. But if you believe you just tripped over your words once, you'll shake it off and speak up again tomorrow.
I love that. But what if you've done all this? You rode the wave, you took a walk, you were kind to yourself, and you really, truly still can't let it go.
That is where the final boundary comes in. The worry window.
To worry window.
You give yourself a strict, let's say, 10-minute window.
Mm-hmm.
You are allowed to sit down and fully obsess over the mistake for 10 whole minutes.
Just let it all out.
Yes, but when that timer goes off, the window shuts.
Because endless overthinking gives us 0 real answers.
Exactly. The worry window gives your brain the space it wants to feel the feelings, but it sets firm walls so the worry doesn't ruin your whole day.
And during that window, you make a final choice. Repair or release.
Right.
If you genuinely said something wrong or crossed a line, you send a short, warm message to fix it, Not a massive Michael-style endless apology, just a quick note to clear the air.
Yes.
And if it doesn't need fixing, if it was just a clumsy pause, you make a firm, active choice to just let it go.
That is the whole flow.
It's quite a process, but they link together so beautifully once you see how the mind works. Stop the physical reaction, change the space, fix the self-talk, and close the loop. But, this isn't going to look perfect the very first time we try it, is it?
Oh, not at all. I want everyone to think of this like building a new muscle. You are trying to build entirely new paths in your mind.
It takes time.
The first time you try to just sit through that 90-second wave without spinning a defense story, it is going to feel so strange. You might mess it up, and that is completely fine.
Mental habits take repetition.
Exactly. Brain paths get stronger every time you use them, not just from one perfect try. Every clumsy first attempt is still moving forward.
So when we step back and look at all of this, the ancient human history, the physical pain centers, the spotlight effect, and this whole reset flow, what is the real goal for everyone listening today?
I think the biggest takeaway is knowing that the goal is never to reach zero discomfort.
Right?
If you never feel awkward, it probably means you aren't trying to connect with anyone. Or worse, you just don't care about the people around you.
Discomfort just proves you care.
Exactly. It proves your ties to other people matter to you. The true goal here is just shortening the distance. Shortening the distance between the moment a chat goes wrong and the moment you feel totally like yourself again.
Shortening the distance. I really, really love that. Because if you think about the sheer amount of mental energy you spend running these mental movies right now, just hours lost to staring at the ceiling, replaying a minor flub,
So much time.
what could you do? Or honestly, just how much more peace could you feel if you pulled back all those hours and put that energy toward things you actually care about?
It changes your whole life.
Which leaves us with one final thought to kind of sit with today. If our brains are this deeply wired to care about what others think, if we literally feel physical pain from a social slip just to keep us safely inside the group, what does that mean for this modern push to be totally independent?
Oh, that is a great question.
Because we're always told, don't care what anyone thinks about you. But maybe needing each other's approval, even when it hurts, even when it makes us panic on a quiet Tuesday morning, isn't a flaw in our design at all.
Maybe it's the glue.
Exactly. Maybe it's the only reason we have a working society to begin with. So next time your face flushes and the panic starts to rise, just remember, your brain is simply trying to keep you connected to others. You are not in any danger. You have the power to just sit there, take a breath, and let the timer run out.
These thoughts, these questions, they don't have to stop here. Geeks Mindset has many more podcasts and videos just like this one. Subscribe to the channel and explore other episodes. They all flow the same thoughtful way. If this podcast felt genuinely useful to you, kabang, share it with even one person in your life. That one share can bring a real change in someone's life. And it helps Geeks Mindset reach more people who truly need this. If this brought you real value, look for the join button right next to the Geeks Mindset logo below this video. Click it and become a member of the Mindset Support Circle. Your support helps honest mindset awareness reach thousands who are silently struggling. Geeks Mindset moves forward because of you. Thank you so much from the heart for being here.